Welcome to Brainiac, the show that does for science what 5 pints of lager does for ugly women. The big science on Brainiac tonight. We find out what happens when you OD on O2. We turn up the heat in our attempt to break the black box. Does being tickled create a pant-wetting experience? Does looking stupid make you go faster? We try more things you shouldn't put in a microwave. And Brainiac goes interactive with the explosive of the week. But first, something shocking. Take one very large deserted warehouse. Introduce some low-amp 9-volt electrical equipment and one Brainiac, and you have yourself an experiment. These electrode pads are designed to be placed on the body. The current they carry will produce electrical impulses to stimulate specific muscle groups. This week we're experimenting to find out if, whilst being electrocuted, you can be a high-class wine waiter. Our Brainiac has 4 pads on his body, 2 on his back muscles and 2 on his arms. Ah!
Sorry about that.
Muscles respond to the electricity by contracting. Our Brainiac has no control over when the electric shocks will be given.
I'm terribly sorry. Sorry. Sir?
Or how often.
Just bear with me.
Our Brainiac waiter might be polite, but his service is far from classy. Wine waiting. One more thing you can't do whilst being electrocuted.
Enjoy your drinks.
Things that make you go,
Here's one for you. How young can you be and still die of old age?
Things that make you go,
We ask a lot of questions here on Brainiac. They come to us when we go out and look at the world around us and ask the simple question, why? And then sometimes we just nick stuff off the internet. Things like this that we found in a website chat room. I've heard that if you play a sound at exactly the right frequency, it'll make whoever hears it poo their pants. A sound that makes you poo your pants. Can it be true? Well, we've been doing some research, and we think there may well be something in this. Apparently, the sound is called brown noise, and it's what's known as a subsonic frequency. This machine can deliver subsonic frequencies. The exact sound we're looking for was discovered by a man called Trevor Wilson, who wrote a thesis on it. He said that it is a tone played at a frequency of 22.275 Hertz and a level of minus 30 decibels. In his paper he said that it will immediately loosen the bowels, causing diarrhea in any persons within 1 meter of the source. It's believed to do this by stirring up the sympathetic vibration frequency of a person's colon. Okay, now this is going to be an interactive experiment, one for you to try at home along with us. In a few minutes, I'm going to set that machine to generate the tone, brown noise. Now this speaker goes in here, and our Brainiac, come on, goes in along with it. Oh, hang on, you'll need this. Almost certainly. Good luck. You can take part at home as well, because we'll be including the noise in the soundtrack of this show. All of this will be happening after the break, but don't worry about not being ready, because we'll be giving you this on-screen warning before we do it. So join us in just a few minutes when we will, for the first time ever on British television, be broadcasting brown noise.
Hello there, I'm Kelly, and you're watching Brainiac. This is talk like this all the time. Oh, hello.
These two brainiacs are very ticklish.
Bring the chairs.
So we're going to gaffer them to a chair and tickle them. This isn't just mindless cruelty, it's cruelty to satisfy our endless search for knowledge. We've got lots of questions to answer. Which is the most ticklish spot on the body? Which is the best tickling method? And can we make these brainiacs wet themselves laughing? But mostly, we'd like to see them suffer, and that's pretty much guaranteed in this experiment. So, tickling, what's it all about? First things first, to fill them with water.
Open wide.
A litre each should do it.
Okay, that's lunch.
Time's needed for it to get through their system, so while we have lunch, we wait for the water to arrive in the bladder area.
A little bit clammy. I think it's the weather we've been having. I told them to nitrogen pack them, they just don't listen.
2 hours later, it's tickle time. Okay, they're fully secured. First, let's try feathers.
Okay, tickle them.
In cartoons, applying feathers to the body is a surefire shortcut to hysteria. But what about real life? Tickling with feathers is akin to being tickled by insects in the wild. The instinctive reaction to laugh is the body's way of letting you know something's crawling on you. But our brainiacs can see the feathers, so very little giggling from them. Let's move on to the hard stuff.
Okay, now I'm going to tell you how to tickle your brainiacs. You two are going to approach the brainiacs with a bit of surprise, get a bit of aggression, quite aggressive, quite jabby, okay? And you two, a little bit more, softly, a bit of menace, really quite sinister. Okay, let's go.
A couple of ticklers to each victim. We're trying two different methods, approaching them with menace.
We're gonna tickle you so bad.
And grabbing them unexpectedly.
Knees.
A recent survey revealed people are most ticklish around the stomach area, closely followed by the neck, under the arms, groin, feet, and knees.
Stomach.
Being tickled is very similar to being attacked. It's the feeling of panic which causes you to laugh.
Groin. It's a tickle, not a massage.
Darwin was the first to point out a tickling victim squirms and strains to withdraw the tickled part away from the attack.
The feet.
Italian scientists discovered most people are more ticklish on the right foot than the left, as it triggers responses in that part of the brain which generates laughter.
Everywhere at once.
Most young children instinctively giggle when tickled, yet prolonged tickling was one of the worst medieval tortures. And apparently men are more ticklish than women.
Okay, that's enough. Come with me, please.
Finally, after establishing that being tickled is not an entirely pleasurable experience,
Let's do it.
we wanted to see which was worst, being tickled or being hit. Uncontrollable laughter or unbearable pain. Two brainiacs continue with the tickling, while at the same time the other two smack them with table tennis bats. Our victims can shout for us to stop one of the activities. Which will they choose?
Stop tickling!
Okay, that's it. Well done, everybody. They were quite good, actually.
Sadly, at the end of the day, we couldn't make them wet their pants, but it was all a good laugh. For us, anyway. When you need a healthy and nutritious slapper meal in a hurry, there's nothing better than a stir-fry. But what if you can't be bothered chopping up all those vegetables and standing there stirring it? Well, this is the solution. All we need is veg, oil, and some soy sauce. Of course, a large wok that stirs itself would also be handy. Chopping vegetables is a chore, unless of course you can get your hands on some heavy machinery. This chipper normally chews up trees, but we found a better use for this diesel-operated beast. This is much more fun than using a kitchen knife, and it makes pretty short work of veg. This chipper can chew its way through solid branches all day long, turning trees into toothpicks. So it's hardly going to make a meal of our fresh hand-picked vegetables. Well, it is, but, well, you know what I mean. With the vegetables cut, all we need to do now is add some cooking oil, preferably sesame oil for that authentic taste, some soy sauce, and then we need to introduce some heat. On Brainiac, we prefer to use flamethrowers where we can, just because they're cool. A few minutes on high should do the trick, and it's starting to smell good. Once it's cooked, it's time to serve it up and dine in a style Brainiacs are accustomed to. Stir fry, the lazy man's way. Which fruit floats? Featuring Professor Mayang Lee and her big basket of fruit. Today she has a lovely pear. So what's your guess? Will the pear sink or will it float? Find out after the break. Also to come, turning pennies into pounds with the scientific approach. It's not the tortoise and the hare, but the tortoise, the snail and the slug. And she's simply the best. It's Tina Turner and her Bunsen burner. This is Brainiac, the show that lets science stay up way past its bedtime. Still to come, does oxygen really make you faster? Can our black box flight recorder survive a napalm attack? And your chance to get interactive with our girls and the explosive of the week. But first, before the break, Professor Mayang Lee and her juicy pear asked the question, does this fruit float? No, pears sink. Now, brown noise. Stand by, because we're about to set this box to generate a subsonic frequency known as brown noise, a sound that is apparently guaranteed to make you crap yourself. Literally. Now, if you're going to take part in this experiment at home, you do need to take a few immediate precautions. Firstly, clear all access routes and corridors to your nearest bathroom. And secondly, make sure that everyone watching has an available toilet nearby. Okay, we're going to be transmitting brown noise in about 20 seconds. So if you don't want to hear it and experience its possible consequences, turn your television sound down now. Right, here we go. Okay, Brainiac in there. Are you ready?
Yes.
Good. Well, stand by. No, don't. Sit. Make that sit by. Okay, everybody, this is it. Make yourselves ready. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Brown noise. Japanese riot police tried it. The French tested it on their own soldiers. A note vibrating at the same frequency as the human colon. It's a weapon that could transform warfare. But will it work? Right, we're safe. Now, I don't know how that affected you at home, but I do want to know. So please email. The address is info@brainiac.co.uk. Now, obviously, we here didn't hear anything because our ear defenders protected us. But I wonder what happened to our Brainiac over there. Hello? Are you okay? Can you open the door for me, please? Just unlock it. Brainiacs, I think we need buckets, probably. So, just a reminder that if you or the person sitting next to you has, like our Brainiac, had a little accident, let us know. It's info@brainiac.co.uk. Stop! The following experiment is dangerous for your safety and the protection of those around you. Do not try this at home. No, really, don't. Argon nitrogen gas is found inside most standard light bulbs. As we introduce energy from a microwave oven, we create plasma inside the bulbs.
Jingle bell, jingle bell.
The flickering light you see is the arc from the filaments to the glass. It's similar to the plasma globes you can buy from gift shops, only a lot smaller. And remember, we do these experiments so you don't have to. Do not try this at home.
Jingle bell time and jingle bell time.
Every good scientist will tell you there's nothing more important than time spent in research. We on Brainiac regularly go out on field trips. Visit any strip joint, poker room or drinking den and you're bound to find a Brainiac there. Or even a funfair arcade. We've often considered this particular fruit ripe for picking, if only a little research were done first. So that's where we come in. Brainiacs go in to observe, investigate, take findings and report back.
You need the edges as well. You need to make it roll down onto the edges instead of the middle.
Then, armed with the conclusions, it's time for the main operator to go in. Each of these machines takes £300 to £400 a week of your money. We reckon it's time to get some back. So here they are then, the 5 tips to win at Coin Cavalcade. In at number 5. It's obvious, really. Never play an empty machine. Always walk away if the gaps on the trays are too big. Remember, those coins that teeter over the edge won't fall unless the gaps are filled up. Don't be lured by hanging cash. At 4, lurk before you strike. Yes, let some other sucker feed the machine for you. If they get a big payout and walk away, fine, you walk away too. But if they spent their stash without return, go in and cash in. In at 3, play 3 coins at a time. Never put in singles. The reason? If your coins get pushed in together, they exert a combined critical force greater than the sum of their parts. It's enough to push more cash over the edge. Number 2, cheat, but don't nudge. Nudging sets off the mercury switch, which drops the internal barrier, preventing coins being paid out. Instead, try stamping. The up and down motion will not trip off the alarm, but will result in dropped coins. And finally, top of the tree, at number 1. Once it's paid, walk away. It may pay out again, eventually, but it's done all it can for now, till some other loser comes along and tops it up. Then you can go back. So, there they are, 5 scientifically proven ways to help you cash in at the Coin Cavalcade. Isn't science fun?
April the 1st? Hey! April Fool's Day! Stuck for a prank? Try this. Simply sprinkle some lycopodium powder around your mate's light bulb. Then look out when he switches it on! That'll make him jump. Makes me laugh.
Tina Turner and her Bunsen burner. Tina Turner loves her science. Though she has, of course, now become an international singing star, she's never forgotten those school days she spent in the lab down in Nutbush. Whenever she gets a break from her busy schedule, she likes to dip into her scientific knowledge to blow something up. Once she arrives at location, our superstar's powerful legs carry her across the loose gravel. Tina uses her ample brain to decide which car to explode. She chooses blue, her favourite colour. She decides to explode the car using petrol, a volatile liquid compound of hydrogen and carbon molecules. It's a hot day, but Tina knows the petrol she's throwing around will not explode without a spark. So she splashes it around liberally. And chucks in the sealed container as well, so there'll be a good bang. Tina has decided to ignite the fuel with a flaming arrow, so she now works out the flight details. She has to be sure the arrow will arrive bang on target if she's going to get the bang she wants. She decides to let a Brainiac fire the arrow, as she's nervous that the propane and alcohol in her hairspray are highly combustible. Tina knows that the energy transferred to the arrow from the bow will fade away during its flight, so she encourages the Brainiac to aim well above the car. A Brainiac delivers the vital tool of her trade.
Your Bunsen burner, Miss Turner.
The arrow is lit. It's now time to conclude her well-judged plan.
Aim! Fire!
You're simply the best.
Mission accomplished. Tina cannot contain the adrenaline that now courses through her body, so she dances in triumph. Tina Turner, simply the best at science. Things John Tickle's body can't do.
Come in. Hello, Mr. Tickle. Would you stand over there, please? Now, Mr. Tickle, would you please lick your elbow?
It is believed that no human being can lick their own elbow, as the combined maximum length of the neck and tongue is about 2 inches shorter than the length of the upper arm.
I'm sorry, nurse. I can't do that.
Okay, Mr. Tickle. Goodbye.
One more thing that John Tickle's body can't do. Every day in the Brainiac lab, our email inbox is flooded with suggestions for experiments from the great British public. The mad, the bad, and the downright stupid. Our dedicated research team go through each and every one of these suggestions and thoroughly assess them for their scientific value. Just a very few ideas actually go forward for testing. And if your idea is picked, be sure the Brainiac team will track you down.
No science, mate.
If you've written into Brainiac, we will find you. This week we're in Southampton, grabbing M&M fan Rhiannon Calder. If you've got an experiment you want to do, then send us an email and we'll invite you round as well. Our address is info@brainiac.co.uk. And if we do choose your experiment, this is where you'll come to get it done, under the enthusiastic eyes of Charlotte Hudson.
Today, it's Rhiannon Calder. Dear Brainiac, which is faster, a slug, a snail, or my tortoise? Good challenge, Rhiannon. Bring it on.
We'll have a go at any experiment you like here, however rubbish. You call the shots. First, the racetrack is set up. 5 foot long. We don't want to be here all day. We'd rather be blowing things up. 3 paths for 3 gastropods on speed. A tough challenge for any garden creature. Animals, like Brainiacs, are driven by primitive desires. Hunger, fear, the desire for sex. We're banking on the lure of foodstuffs to get these creatures going.
Slug, snail, tortoise. They're ready and they're set. Let the games begin.
So what do the bookies make of this? Well, the favourite would have to be the tortoise, who can go at a shattering 1/4 mile an hour.
Come on, tortoise. Come on, you can do it.
When he actually emerges from his shell. A snail's pace is 8 times slower, while slugs limp in 100 times slower even than that. So much for theory, but this is where it counts.
Come on, they're not that far ahead. Go!
The snail is fairly bombing it. He must be starving.
Look at that. Yes, get ready. Come on, go. Come on! How can that snail beat you? Come on, go!
The tortoise stays put. It ain't going nowhere. Hibernation has kicked in.
Go, tortoise, go!
And it's the snail by 20 lengths. The slug trails in a distant second. And so much for the tortoise. If he tried, he'd have won. He just didn't have the bottle. Her name is Rhiannon Calder. She wanted to know which was fastest, a slug, a snail, or her tortoise. The answer? A snail.
I can do science, me.
I am a scientist. 101 uses for a wee. The seaside is such fun. But wait! Oh no! Watch out, holiday man! Shark attack! With its scary face and razor-sharp teeth, is it all over for you? Wait! Why not save yourself with some wee-wee? Packed full of minerals, hormones and enzymes, wee-wee is a byproduct of your blood, so it's perfect to distract those vicious fishes. Chuck it out the boat and watch those sharks swim away. Phew! So, next time you go sailing, make sure you pack some wee-wee. You know it makes sense.
Michael Jackson used to hang out in an oxygen tent, a bit like this one. Apparently he'd spend hours just sucking up the gas because he believed it would make him live longer. Is he bonkers? Ah, yeah, of course he is. But he might have been onto something with this whole oxygen thing. You see, scientists have discovered that a puff of the gas can help make us perform better at certain tasks. Well, we'll be the judge of that, thank you very much. I've got 2 Brainiacs here and 1 canister of oxygen. Out there, we've set up our very own assault course, a series of challenges for our Brainiacs. It might get messy, they'll almost certainly get hurt. Now, this Brainiac here is going to do the whole thing au naturel, breathing just pure, simple, natural air. This Brainiac, though, is going to compete with the aid of a stimulant, a heady mix of oxygen and air. First, let's administer the gas. Pure oxygen is lethal, so we can't use that. Well, not while we've got an experiment to do. So we're giving this Brainiac a cocktail of air and oxygen, while the other one breathes the God-given air, much like a normal human being. Now they're ready for their first challenge, so Brainiacs, mount your steeds, please. Okay. Ready, set, go! We've built a course which our 2 Brainiacs are equally good or bad at. So, can the added oxygen give this Brainiac an edge? Fantastic over! Pushing these trikes as fast as they can is a test of energy. It's an aerobic exercise, so oxygen enhancement should help. Amazingly, 90% of your body's energy comes from oxygen. Only 10% comes from food and water. And the oxygen seems to have helped. The enriched Brainiac pulls ahead. Awaiting them now is the items on a tray challenge. Each Brainiac has 5 seconds to memorise all of these items. The fish, the dart, the mouldy flan, the melted jelly. Then they turn away, 1 item is taken away, they have 5 seconds to recall which one. 3 correct answers from each Brainiac before they can move on. I want to add a bit of extra pressure. If they get it wrong, the missing item is thrown at them. Okay, Brainiac, you have 5 seconds to memorise these items. Go. Research has shown that a 30-second blast of pure oxygen can double your recall for several minutes, and the effect will last for a whole day. What's the object? Come on, turn around. You have 5 seconds to spot the missing item. Stay put. Stay put. I don't know. Sorry, you're wrong. Stand up, come on. Okay, turn around. Which object? Quick, memorise. Got it. Good. Turn around, please. Turn around. I'm removing an item. Turn around. Increased levels of oxygen heightens powers of concentration and alertness by breaking down glucose in the brain. That then increases the brain's energy levels. Egg, correct. Well done. With this extra thinking food, enriched Brainiac is sharper, faster, and gets a lot less messy than pure air Brainiac. 5 seconds. Fish. Correct. Well done. I don't know. Okay, wrong. Think, Brainiac. It's the oxygen thing. Time's up. Sorry. Sorry, it's wrong. Think. Well, you're wearing it. Sorry, Brainiac. Right, would you like to step back up, please? Memorise them. Turn around, please. Moving an object
turn around. 5 seconds begins now.
Stop.
Yes, it is. That's 3 correct answers. Get a breath of oxygen. While he does that, their next challenge is a straight race on space hoppers. It's around this course and finishing there, simple as that. And Pure Air Brainiac is there first. Go on! Pure Air Brainiac gets a big head start as he's not had a refreshment stop. This is another test of aerobic fitness. The enriched Brainiac has had a valuable short-term energy boost into his muscles, the perfect drug to get him round this course. He passes Pure Air Brainiac and races through to the next challenge. Just look at him go! Awaiting our Brainiacs is the final challenge. This is a simple test of reactions. There's absolutely no thinking required. Each of the two will be armed with one of these, a paintball gun. And waiting for them, down here, are 4 oil drums, in each of which is a Brainiac. Each of them has a sign that says, don't shoot me or shoot me. They'll pop up at irregular intervals, holding either that side or that side. Pretty simple, really. 5 correct hits, and it's a race to the finish. Lack of oxygen can result in depression, dizziness, irritability and fatigue. Coincidentally, the same feelings that the target Brainiacs are now experiencing. Extra oxygen, which enriches the blood, also translates into increased speed of reactions. Perfect for this challenge. Pumped up with gas and floating on enriched air, it's the oxygen Brainiac who charges to the finish. So there we go! Oxygen-enriched Brainiac wins! Final and conclusive proof. If you want to get ahead, get a hit of oxygen. This object has been magnified 360 times. You've probably seen it every day, and depending on what's filling it, admired its shape and form. What do you think it is? We'll tell you after the break. Still to come, Pub Science gets Dr. Bunhead barred again. What to do when your office becomes an island. And will our black box flight recorder withstand this special treatment? This is Brainiac, where we smother science in sausages and set the dogs loose. Still to come, can we stop rock and roll with the help of the Brainiac van? Does looking like a dork make you go faster? And your chance to vote and win a starring role in Brainiac. But first, earlier we showed you this and asked you to identify it. It's an everyday object that's been magnified 360 times. Wrapped around a rear like Kylie's, you'd be forgiven for not noticing the detail. But it's stitching from a pair of jeans. We've got our hands on something a bit special, flown in from the USA just for us. It can withstand 20,000 feet of pressure underwater. It has an astonishing fire resistance of 1100 degrees centigrade. It has a staggering impact tolerance of 3,400 Gs. We're not supposed to have it, but we have. It's a black box flight recorder, the strongest box ever made. And it's yellow. Last week, we used 19th century battlefield technology to try and destroy our black box. But despite its effectiveness during the American Civil War, it had little effect on our target. Incredibly, it even survived a direct hit from a 12-pound cannon. This week, we're using something developed at Harvard University in the 1940s and used by the United States Armed Services to try and destroy our black box. Napalm is a mixture of gasoline, benzene and polystyrene. It burns much slower than petrol and can reach temperatures over 1,000 degrees centigrade. Our box can supposedly withstand up to 1,100 degrees, so it's going to be a close run thing. Amazingly, it's still intact. A little dirty, but still in one piece. Yes, the box survives again. Next time, the landed gentry have a go at blasting our black box.
Jolly good chair.
Things that make you go,
Here's one for you. In a falling lift, could you save yourself by jumping at the very last second?
Things that make you go,
Pub Science, the Brainiac alternative to speed dating.
Were you really disappointed with that blinking Beagle 2 thing? British Space? I know it's rubbish. You could do a better job with stuff you find in your pub. You need a launch pad, some fuel, if you want to hang on to fuel, that's fizzy indigestion tablets, washing up liquid and some warm water. Just pop those in here, break them in half, drop them in, add some hot water, they'll start fizzing, add a bit of washing up liquid to increase the fizz, and screw the lid on quick, and then just wait really. And any minute now, the pressure will build up significantly and it will take off. Go on! Go on! This is real cutting-edge science. I think shaking it might increase the rate of reaction. It's going to work. You're looking anxious, so I'll just point it slightly that way. Any suggestions? Yes! 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 First rocket into space! Yes! Yes! Ow!
Damn scientists.
In 1983, Twisted Sister sang You Can't Stop Rock and Roll. But we here at Brainiac beg to differ.
You can't stop rock and roll.
During this experiment, our stereo will be subject to many of the forces of physics, like acceleration. Each time the Brainiac van corners, the stereo is swung wide, creating an increase in G-forces. The tumbling of the unit also means components inside are experiencing centrifugal force. And of course, the dragging of the stereo creates friction between the surface of the player and the rough ground. Which ultimately means Twisted Sister were wrong. You can't stop rock and roll, you can with a van. Scientific research claims that if the world climate increases by 3 degrees Celsius, the Greenland ice sheet would melt, causing the level of the sea to rise by 7 meters. So, in case you're caught unawares by global warming, we thought it would be a wise idea to find out which office product you should grab to help you stay afloat. To do this, we've built a floating office. Last week, our office junior decided to grab the PC monitor, which ultimately floated, but didn't have enough buoyancy to support his weight. This week, when he hears the high water level alarm, he'll grab another office product to test for buoyancy. Okay, he's gone for the bin. I don't know, surely that won't keep him up. But it looks like he's using his head. He's turned it upside down to trap the air inside. This office product looks to have some potential. And yes, quite clearly his head there is well above the water. Our office Brainiac is certainly faring much better with this than with the PC monitor. It's that air pocket in the bin there, more than enough to support his weight and keep him afloat. So, the humble waste paper basket, also an office buoyancy aid. Sport. It used to be just a good, honest duel between two teams or individuals. But as our understanding of science grows, so does the amount of technology involved. I mean, take swimming. That used to be a pure sport where competitors wore nothing more complicated, basically, than a pair of pants. Now they've got those sharkskin-style bodysuits. And what about the England rugby team in their skin-tight numbers? A far cry from the rugby shirts of old. The question is, though, does the aerodynamic design of clothing really make that much difference? Now, I don't normally like to lose, but on this occasion, I'm happy to hand over the so-called advantage to a Brainiac, because it means I don't have to wear this. Come on, out. Let's have a look at you.
My car, too sexy.
Nice. Now, the way we'll be testing to see if aerodynamic clothing really works is by using two identical scooters. They'll both be carrying exactly the same weight. The only difference will be the style of clothing the riders are wearing. So if aerodynamic clothes really do work, then the Brainiac should beat me. So, first things first, the weigh-in. Our aerodynamic Brainiac weighs 68 kilos. I, with my non-aerodynamic clothing, weigh just under 70. So to make this completely fair, 1.25 kilograms is being added to his scooter. Now, for the moment of truth. It's a straight-line drag race. First past the post wins. Dorky-looking Brainiac up against farmer-looking presenter. Go! With just meters to go and no Formula One style slipstreaming slingshots to be had, it was obvious. There was just no way I was going to beat this Brainiac. So you can clearly see the large jacket filling up with air and more or less acting like a sail. This causes an enormous amount of drag and seriously affects the top speed of the scooter. So there you go. If tenths of a second is what matters most to you, then aerodynamic clothing is clearly the way to go. If image is what matters, then I'd give it a miss. Explosive of the week. We're down at the Big Bang Farm. Our Brainiac babes are at play. They're going to pick an explosive, blow something to smithereens, and then give it marks out of 10. But here's the best bit. You too can rate the explosion and win the chance to join the girls blowing stuff up on the final show of this series. But what explosive will the girls choose this week? After a quick consultation, it looks like a decision has been made. The girls have gone for gunpowder. Great for fireworks and guns. A fine, old-fashioned banger. And why not blow up their own office? 3 of their friends will judge the explosion, giving it marks out of 10. And this is where you can take part. We're offering you the chance to join the girls blowing stuff up on the final show of this series. And all you have to do is vote. Digital satellite viewers, press the red button now. Or you can text us on 87654. Rate the explosion out of 10 to enter our draw. Just text BANG, leave a space, and your score between 1 and 10. That number again is 87654. Today's explosive, gunpowder, burns rapidly rather than detonates, but in these small packets, it's sure to go off with a mighty bang. Not though until these girls are well clear. Nora will make sure of that. The judges are ready, so here we go. Let's make it go pop. The girls seem pleased, but how do the judges see it? Only a 3 from Beryl. Surely it was worth more than that. A well-earned 7 from Mavis. Nice scatter there. And a generous 8 out of 10 from Hilda. Well, that's what the judges think, but remember, we're waiting for your verdict.
Digital satellite viewers press red to vote for your explosion of the week, and you could end up pressing the red button for your very own explosion filmed on location with the Brainiac team. But now, while the cat's away, teenagers will play.
I need to lie down, I'm not being funny.
All new Teenage Kicks is next.